Thank you, Anna. Next, I'd like to welcome Pam Heron and Dean Cracknell to the stage. Pam and Dean are respectively Chair and Deputy Chair of the Beaufort Street Network, an organisation of residents and businesses that aim to nurture, enhance and extend the unique environment of the Beaufort Street Strip. Pam is a real estate agent who lives and works around Beaufort Street and wants it to become the greatest urban precinct in Perth. Dean is an urban planner, passionate about creating vibrant, diverse and interesting town centres. So now, I'd like to hand over to Pam and Dean.
Thanks everyone for coming along tonight, and I put a lower that a fair bit, don't you? Sorry. Lucky I wore high heels. I'd just like to say that Dean and I were honoured on behalf of the Beaufort Street Network to be invited here tonight. Can you all hear me? Good. The Beaufort Street Network is a community organisation. It was established in 2009 by a pretty small group of passionate people wanting to make a difference and to help local businesses and residents to find their voice with local government. We created the Beaufort Street Festival as a community project, and together we created the Beaufort Street Action Plan, and now we hope to create a better place to live, shop, work and play for the local residents. Back to the future for our cities. Today the network has grown to an executive committee of 12 people. We have subcommittees focusing on taking away our reliance on motor vehicles and going back to the way it was when our cities were for people. Dean has been instrumental with his hard-working team in developing the Better Beaufort Street Action Plan, and he's going to talk to us tonight about that. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you. Thanks, Pam. Look, I guess the theme of our speech is that professionals are needed. I'm an urban planner. But people can do things as well, and community organisations in particular can do things. Really enjoyed Anne's speech. There's some fantastic messages in there, but the key theme is community. And we've got some big challenges we need to deal with, and what we're dealing with or talking about tonight is what we're experiencing and what we're going to do about it on Beaufort Street. So being an urban planner, I'm a bit of a nerd, so you'll have to bear with me on a couple of stories here, but I'll go back to the way cities used to be. So a concept for you is urban versus suburban. So new urbanism is all about bringing urbanism back. And urbanism is really about places for people and activity and busyness and vibrancy. Suburban's very much a different concept about big backyards, big homes, nice quiet streets. And both are fantastic. But in Perth, we've had suburbs pretty much. And a guy came out here in 2006 called Charles Landry, who was a bit of a leader in urbanism, and he said that Perth was suburbs in search of a city. So what's been happening since that time is a lot of different things have been happening to try and create a city again, an urban place, exactly like this, where people can get together, and shock horror, we're actually taking away space from cars as well. So the world hasn't fallen, the sky hasn't fallen in. You know, places for people are critical if we want an environmentally sustainable future and just a better place to be. And cars aren't the dominating thing for our city. There's got to be people first. So as I mentioned, cities used to be designed for people. There's some fantastic old cities, and they're all the places we love to go on holidays and hang out, and beautiful plazas and walking spaces. There was never suburbs in those days because there was a wall around the city, but then we fell in love with cars, and suburbs were made possible because of train lines and cars and those sort of things, and that's fantastic, but it almost feels like the city is for cars, not for people. So urbanism's all about bringing the people back to being the central point and the top priority for our cities. So really it's about places for people, and this is a fantastic example of that concept. Taking away some space for cars, or just creating places for people out of boring or ugly spaces. How that relates to sustainability? Well, the United Nations said that the battle for a sustainable future is going to be won or lost in cities. More than 50% of the world's population now live in cities. So if we don't win it in the city, we've got no chance of winning a sustainable future. So what are we doing about it on Beaufort Street? Well, we're doing exactly what some of the gurus like Fred Kent have said. We've said, well, you know, we can whinge and sit around and think about the negatives, or we can actually get out there and make positive changes. So Beaufort Street Network prepared an action plan for a better Beaufort Street. It's already a pretty good place now. Can I just have a show of hands who goes to Beaufort Street on occasions? Fantastic. Most people do, so that's good for us. Good marketing. We'll hand out some cards later on. But the action plan is about creating a better place. And we think we can do so many different things. Some will be quick wins, some might be longer-term strategies. But we've established a vision for the place. We've got principles to guide our future actions. And we've got short, medium and long-term goals in there. And the key message really is that professionals are needed. You know, I want a job. I'm a professional urban planner. But the community can do things. And community organisations and local businesses can help make this change. So the action plan on the second page actually says, well, what are you going to do? And it challenges people to say, how are you going to be part of this positive change? So let's not just expect that the government's going to do it, because they're not. I can tell you I work for a local government and there's some challenges in there. But what are you going to do? What's the business going to do? And even if we only do very small things, like pick up a piece of rubbish from the street or smile at someone or get to know your local shopkeeper, they're really important to creating a great place. Town centres need some help. They have some real challenges, and like this space, use it or lose it, same with town centres. So online retail is growing exponentially. Some of the rising rents are forcing our favourite local businesses out of business. We've got traffic congestion, parking problems. The shopping centres are all getting bigger to meet the threat of online retail. So there's some real challenges, and we could sit around and debate who's going to do what, or we could actually take advantage of the opportunities. And the opportunities for a town centre is that we can be a place that you could never find on the internet, or you'll never find in a mall, a galleria or a garden city. We can give real experiences to people. So we see a massive opportunity here for us to improve what we offer to people, and by attracting more people to the street, firstly we make a better place socially, but also the businesses can also be a bit more sustainable themselves. If they don't have the customers going in the door, of course they can't afford to pay the rising rents. So we're not doing this by ourselves. There's cities all around the world doing this. Funnily enough, Los Angeles is a bit of a leader. I was surprised myself. But New York is doing some fantastic stuff. And their Commissioner of Transport is actually charged with doing some of this stuff. So completely different field in transport, but they're creating places for people, and they're finding not only is that a great place and feels much better, it's great for business as well. So you create a good street, create a good place, and you get positive impacts on the businesses. So we can focus on all the big picture issues. As I mentioned, traffic, rents, online retail, local businesses closing. We can't really do too much about those, so why don't we focus on the things that we can do? So we can work to make the street more interesting, more comfortable, more activities. I'll talk about that later on. We can add personality, and the most important thing is cooperate. If you're a local business and you're feeling things a bit tough, the worst thing you can do is sit in your shop behind your counter and not do anything. If we all cooperate together, and that's residents, which is me, and businesses, and the council, and other community organisations, we can all do something to make the street a better place. So, as tempting as it is, I'm an urban planner, I think I know what I'm doing, but quite often I don't, because the community knows more than me about the local place, the businesses know far more than what I could. So this action plan is based on the community feedback and the business feedback. So Luckily, I guess for me, they're very similar views. So the community, the businesses, the local government, and some of our Better Beaufort Action team, we're all pretty much saying the same thing. So that's fantastic. And what the community involvement does is give us some great ideas, gives us some direction and our values and principles, but also provides legitimacy. So when we go and do things, we have community support for it. So what are we going to do? Well, we think we can do lots of things, starting off by providing excuses for people to come to Beaufort Street. So we did a street audit. If you don't remember anything about the rest of the presentation, Project for Public Spaces, these guys are the guru, so Fred Kent. And what they do is a street audit, and we found that there's no places to sit, literally no seats on Beaufort Street. So are we making things very welcoming and interesting? Certainly not. But here's some examples. It might be hard to see up the back there, but here's some examples of interesting things you don't have to spend any money on in other places. So Los Angeles actually set up a little parklet there with exercise equipment. So they've taken it to the next level here. They're combining a great place to be with exercise. And I was shocked to learn we're actually more obese as a country than the States. We're the most obese country in the world. We've got some massive health issues, and this is maybe an opportunity for us to tap into the health and well-being of people and improve that, but have a niche that we could do in our town centres. So lots of different things here. I really like the one in the bottom centre. That was a project in Montreal where they set up swings in bus stops. So fantastic creative idea of taking something that's pretty ordinary and standard and having a bit of fun with it. So the boring old town planners would have never have thought that one. It would never have been in a master plan. This guy was very creative, and they put about 20 swings in different bus stops and gave people something to smile about, something to do, something to go and see. It's an international tourist attraction now. We also need to welcome people to the street, so making people feel at home. So at the moment, I said there was no seats on the street. We really need to welcome people in as though you were welcoming someone to your home. And the first thing you say is come in, have a seat, make yourself at home. Would you like a drink? Put your feet up on the coffee table. If we don't do that, we're not welcoming people and making it interesting and comfortable for them to come. So that all might sound fine to you guys, but what we're offering is that you guys can make a difference as well. And what we want to do as a network is make it easy for people to do projects they're passionate about. So a couple of examples here. A local artist has turned a boring old wall that literally used as a heroin shootout point, literally, into an interesting piece of art. And there's an idea that we could turn a whole laneway with residents along each side into an urban art gallery. So I guess the challenge for us, or to you, is if you've got some interesting ideas, let us know. And how does all this relate to sustainability? Well, places for people are inherently more sustainable than places for cars and cities. So cities are like ecosystems, they need to be cared for. They're not machines. That's the way a traffic engineer will view a city. A city is an ecosystem just like a rainforest, and all the interconnections and the care that's required. So places for people are far more environmentally friendly. We're reflecting that in our action plan. We want to build a more sustainable and resilient community. So by all of us getting together and doing stuff, not waiting for local government or state government to spend billions of dollars, we're creating a more resilient, more connected community because we're cooperating. And the last thing, so we need to make people feel at home on the street, comfortable, relaxed and entertained. We want to attract people for longer periods. Now that's good for sustainability purposes, it's good for community building purposes, also great for the businesses. So there's win-win-win. And creating a great place is everyone's responsibility. So Pam and I aren't going to do everything. The challenge to everyone who loves Beaufort Street is you get involved. Do what you're passionate about and we'll help you make that change. So there's some contact details, or you can come and see us after that. But thanks very much for your time.